Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And starting the week is the Perandus challenge stats, and it's starting to become standard for GGG to keep us updated on the progress of players for the challenges of a specific league. And it's only been a couple of weeks since the Perandus League started, and you can see here the graphic for how many challenges have been completed. Of course, only for players who actually completed at least one. And completing one is really easy, so it should be a very high percentage of players. And you can see it's a very gradual curve, and it looks pretty nice. I think the challenges these leagues are very well designed, much better than they previously were. So while playing, you'll gradually complete most of them, and then if you want to go the extra mile and you want the extra effects, so if you want to get to 24 challenges or 36 challenges for the portal, you actually have to work your way to them. So as you can see, very few players completed the last set of like 10 challenges, and that's because the league has just started, so there is a lot of time, and in time even casual players will be able to catch up in these leagues, because that's how these leagues work. You can actually do a lot more stuff even if you are a casual player. Also, we got an update on the fun meetup that happened in San Francisco early in the week, where fellow exiles and Chris, Eric and Jonathan met up in a pub, as you can see from the photo here, and basically had a chat for around 3 hours before coming back. So it was really nice of them to meet their fans. It's also becoming another staple from GGG. Whenever they get out and are able to actually spare some time, they try to meet up with fans. And then we got a very quick look at how the new uniques, or some of the new uniques, were born for this league. So generally GGG tries to keep the uniques specific to the league. So what I mean is, for example, when there was warbands, you had the uniques related to those warbands, kind of told the story of the warband and so on. Now this time there's only Kadiro and the coins, and they didn't want an item that helped in gathering the coins, otherwise it would feel mandatory. So what they did instead is use some old mythology, because that's what rich people kind of tend to do, go for the kind of rare, kind of mysterious items, right? So Varunastra comes from an Hindu myth, where Varuna, which is the god of water, actually made a weapon which can take the shape you want. However, only a master can actually wield it without pretty much killing himself. So that's how it works. This weapon counts as all type of one-handed melee weapons, so it's pretty interesting, and I think it kind of captures also with the text, with the flavor text, which GGG always takes into consideration. Then we got the Tri-Panel Great Mallet. This one is a case of mod coming before the actual item, because I mean, the mod is pretty interesting. All attacks with the weapons are critical strikes. However, that's all it does. It also reduces attack speed. So it is kind of a leveling weapon at the moment. However, maybe someone will find a better use for it. Then we got Zephyr's Last Breath, which is a flask which, spanning over 10 seconds, recover a little bit of mana. But the point is that while you're using this flask, every skill you use will heal your life for 8 times the mana cost of the skill. So this is pretty interesting. You need to find a good balance between using the flask without filling up and healing yourself without going out of mana. It's kind of a very strange balance to achieve. However, it's really powerful if you can actually do it. So that's an interesting one, also coming from Zephyr, which is a lore character from the game itself. Another item coming from lore is the 7 League Step, and these are the fastest boots in the game. 50% increased movement speed is a lot, and you can use them from level 1 However, they are intended to help you level your second and anything else character, not the first though, because these boots only drop in higher level places, so you cannot obtain these very early in the league. Also, I'm going to guess these are quite rare and much costly if coming from Caliber. And the last unique is the Umbilicus Immortalis, which grants a lot of life and life regenerations to the player. However, flasks do not apply to you, but apply to zombies and specters. So it's a very, very powerful unique. However, it also comes with a very great risk, because not being able to use flasks on yourself is really, really scary. So if you can actually keep yourself safe, your minions are pretty much immortal. But yeah, those are some of the uniques, and it's always interesting when GG does these kind of things, because it lets you see kind of a bit of the background on how uniques are designed. And then we got the 2.2.1D patch notes, which beside being a lot of bug fixes, pretty much all of bug fixes, including but not limited to fixing the bug where if you lightning warped too quickly, you will not see the animation. So now that should work. Also, the unique flask, the writing jar, no longer refills in your hideout, so you cannot just spam worms and crash the instance like some people did. Also, Perandus monsters can no longer summon skeletal mages, which apparently were too strong, so I didn't feel like that. However, I'm not even sure if I found this specific combination, because it's just a clusterfuck of effects when you meet a box. So, but yeah, still pretty good. And last, we got some ascendants in statistics. This time not for challenges, but for classes played. So first up, you can see most of the players actually played through normal, some through cruel and merciless, many through maps, and quite a bit also through the labyrinth. This league, we also saw the rise of the Solaris one as one of the best farming spots just for coins and Cadiro. So if you actually want to make coins fast, you should farm Solaris one. It's really, really quick, especially if you have a really, really fast character or something that can clear really quickly and moves really fast. You can get a lot of coins here and a lot of deals, so that's an interesting new spot. However, if you take a look at the classes, we see the Ascendant being very popular and the Champion being quite close behind it, and then going down with the Hierophant quite higher than expected, and the Slayer, Pathfinder and Guardians in the last positions. Well, Guardian is not a surprise because not many players play support. Pathfinder is really strong, however it doesn't really have that flavor to any build, so it's kind of a, I don't know how to say that, but it kind of doesn't have its own identity. I mean, it's not reflected in a specific build, probably that's it. Also, the Elementalist is really, really low. I expected it to be quite higher. However, if you take a look at the 80 plus characters in the standard Perandus leagues, we still see the Ascendant pretty high up. The difference is when we take a look at the hardcore 80 plus, where the Champion with their permanent fortify is the real winner by a large margin here. And then the same class is Ascendant, Chieftain for totems, Saboteur, Trapper, Necromancer is also pretty high. And again, we can see the Guardian, the Slayer, the Pathfinder, all in the lowest spots. I guess, personally think Slayer needs something to be done to it, because it just doesn't feel worth playing. The Leech just doesn't feel worth playing. If you need a certain amount of Leech, you generally just go Valpact and forget about it. So I don't know, I think maybe it's in a really good spot and no one still knows it. However, I think GG needs to kind of hype leech a bit more, kind of do something to it, because just leaving it there, no one really cares about it. I don't know, just doesn't feel right. But anyway, that was all for this week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.